Hi, all. Hope you're doing well. I'm just going to give you a little short introduction to supported employment that'll go along with the PowerPoint and some of the readings that I've been doing. Obviously, it's a big topic, and so I just wanted to maybe cut through some of the smog about this and get right to the meat of it. Supported employment came around in the late 70s, early 80s in practice through folks like Lou Brown at the University of Wisconsin, Tom Bellamy at the University of Oregon, and a variety of provider agencies out in the Northwest, and then also Paul Wayman at Virginia Commonwealth University as well. A number of us were providers back in those days, and we're doing some things out in the community, mobile work crews, enclaves, groups of people working together, largely because there wasn't money available to do individual placements. As the techniques have evolved since the mid '80s, when supported employment went into legislation, 85 the DD Act, 86 the Rehab Amendments. Over time this has evolved, and we've got now this evolution of supported employment, which exists in every state in the United States and in especially the Western European countries, Canada, some South American countries, Australia, New Zealand. What we've got now is this evolution into customized employment, which just builds on what we learned after about 250,000 people went into employment through supported employment. And primarily, it builds on the same basic code and structure as supported employment, except that we've learned that we really don't need to do groups of people anymore, because there is funding established for supported employment, and that groups really sort of highlight the deficits of people. Anytime you group a group of folks together in the community, you tend to overwhelm the environment with them. And so we've moved away from groups, we've moved away from sub-minimum wage because we don't think that's fair. And we've also learned how to do worksite training better, how to turn over training to the natural trainer in a worksite. Most businesses train people all day long. They train their new employees, and while it's true that we need job coaching to teach some of the more powerful strategies, a lot of what we've been doing is teaching folks to supplement the power of the training and help the natural trainers do it better. So that we've tried to decrease the dependence that employers and supported workers have, on a job coach. The other thing that's happened over the years is that self-employment has come more into its own, and under supported employment, you can sort of fund self-employment, but you certainly can't do both. And that's one of the things that we've been looking at is if the typical worker is working for a little bit more than minimum wage, and that's the statistic, and they're working about 22 hours a week, national statistics show, why don't people have a business on the side, especially those folks who are receiving SSI? One of the biggest issues for folks who go to work who are on SSI is that they can't save any money because of the resource limit, the $2,000 resource limit on Medicaid and SSI. Folks, once you have more than $2,000 in the bank, you're in trouble with Social Security and you have to spend down. Unless, after the 1990 Social Security amendments, unless you own a small business. And what Social Security said was, well, it's kind of hard to run a small business on less than $2,000 cash, so let's exempt money that's in a small business. So now you can have somebody on SSI actually working their way out of poverty by uncapping the amount of liquid resource that they would have. So as we've moved from supported employment to customized, we're looking at one job, one person. We're looking at using a discovery process, which takes a look at who that person is today. It's not a predictive assessment at all. We're not worried about what's coming down the road. We understand already that there are unlimited ways to make a living in the world, so we take an economic development view of the world, that we can create work either through job creation, job carving, or through self-employment development, that we don't have to just react to what the labor market offers us, and that we really are individualizing employment and looking at what are the ideal conditions of employment for folks. So over the years, we've seen this movement from maybe individual or group placements, sub-minimum wage, limited hours per week, growing out of day program to a time when we're saying, let's take people as they transition out of high school and they've got a rich work history already with paid work, not unpaid work experience. That's not of terribly great value to us. That teaches kids that work is punishment. And besides, most of us never had unpaid work experiences. We had real work. When I delivered newspapers, when I washed cars at Christmas, when I worked on the farm, all those things that I did, all those jobs that I had and that you probably had when you were in high school as well, those were not unpaid. And, most of us had after school jobs or weekend jobs. We got paid for those, and those taught us a whole bunch of things. So it also introduced us to people in the community, which is a pretty darn important thing, especially considering that people with disabilities are pretty isolated in their communities, and that we get jobs through who we know and who knows us. So we're trying to capture that in the evolution to customized employment. I've given you a lot of different materials, and I apologize for that. But I've worked for 2 universities, so I'm allowed to generate a lot of paper. I will recommend that you go and Google the Rural Institute and look at their transition projects. You can see a really nice write-up of a career model that uses customized employment principles and discovery to help kids get businesses and get jobs before they've graduated and transition truly into adult life. Also, look at our website. We've got a lot of different materials up, griffinhamas.com, and also the Startup USA. If you just Google that, it'll take you to our website on the self-employment side of things. So I hope this brief intro helps you a little bit. It's a huge topic. And feel free to email me. I believe that the weeks or at least part of the time that this class is going to run, I'll be working up in Alaska. So, hopefully my evenings won't be too awful booked, and I will definitely get back to you ASAP on that. So good luck with your class. Thanks. Bye.